Manalangin po tayo.
Dakila at mapagmahal na Diyos, may-ari sa lahat ng nasa langit at sa lupa. Kami po ay dumudulog sa inyo at tulad ng buhangin sa dagat, puno kami ng bahid ng kasalanan at di karapat-dapat sa inyong presensya. Mismo ang pagbanggit sa inyong pangalan ay di kami karapat-dapat, sapagkat ang mga dila namin ay may dungis ng mga salita na kasuklam-suklam at di naaayon sa inyong mga aral. O Diyos, patawad po. Patawad sa lahat ng nagawa namin, maging sa aming mga galaw, pag-iisip o pananalita. Sa kawalan ng inyong gabay, kami po ay walang silbi. Dakilang Ama, andito kami, nagtitipon, nagbabasakali na sa pamamagitan ng iyong awa, muli mong ibuhos ang makalangit na kaalaman na siyang magbigay daan sa aming pag-unawa sa mga leksyon na aming aralin, upang sa ganon magamit namin bilang isang epektibong instrumento sa inyo at sa komunidad. O Diyos, sa inyong patnubay, kami ay sumasandal at umaasa. Salamat. Maraming salamat sa pagpakamatay sa krus upang kami tubusin mula sa makalinlang na daigdig. Ang lahat ng ito ay aming pinapanalangin. Amen.
Good morning po sa lahat ng mga kadete nationwide from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, sa lahat po ng mga reviewees, instructors, mga guest lecturers, professors, sa lahat din po ng mga review lecturers. Magandang umaga po sa inyo and welcome sa Bikuino. Ang Bikuino po, isang plataforma po ito sa YouTube na nagbibigay po ng libre, comprehensive at the same time align po lahat ng discussion natin sa latest at table of specification. Mga kadete, ang target po natin in this video discussion is yung subject na specialized crime investigation with legal medicine. Okay? Dalawa po ang specialized crime investigation natin, 1 at saka 2. May video discussion na po tayo sa specialized crime investigation with simulation of interview and interrogation. Dito is specialized crime investigation with legal medicine. Okay? Before anything else, I'd like to advertise before we go with the proper discussion. I'd like to advertise muna mga kadete ha. Please give me a very short time to promote our Bikuino book. Ang Bikuino book, isa po itong libro mga kadete that consists 2 chapters. Unang chapter po, review materials sa lahat po ng subjects, nakasynthesize na po, naka-align na din po sa latest table of specification. Yung pangalawang chapter naman mga kadete is a compilation of the previous criminologist licensure examination questions. If you want to have a practice para ma-assess po yung level of learning natin, kung preparado na ba tayo para sa board examination, ang chapter 2 po is very suitable for you. Pero I'd like to advise everyone na again, our concentration should be on the first chapter muna before we jump to the second chapter. Importante mga kadete that we have to concentrate first on the review materials. Huwag mo nang pumunta agad doon sa chapter 2. Chapter 1 muna, doon muna tayo sa mga review materials kasi doon po ang point of concentration in the board examination. Marami pong lumabas dito. Ang dami na pong testimonies na makikita po natin sa Bicoino online Facebook page. Marami talagang lumabas sa libro. Makatulong po ito sa lahat ng mga first year, second year, third year. Hindi pa lang fourth year. Nasa first year ka lang, advisable na po na dapat nag-avail ka sa Bicoino. Huwag mo nang antayin na makapag-graduate ka. Do not wait for you to graduate. Okay? As much as possible, first year ka pa lang, nag-advance reading ka na. Kahit hindi mo pa na-take yung subject, may Bicoino ka para at least nakapag-prepare ka kung ano yung mga lessons ahead. Okay? At the same time, pag ang preparasyon natin is medyo mataas, okay? So pag mataas po, there's a big possibility na maganda po ang resulta sa board examination natin. Especially if you are aiming to top the board examination. So again, I'd like to advertise Bicoino book. Sa lahat naman po ng mga professors, instructors, mga ma'am and mga sir, medyo kapos po tayo sa oras, wala tayong PDF copy sa subject na Specialized Crime Investigation with Legal Medicine, or kapos po tayo sa oras, wala tayong PowerPoint presentation sa subject na ito, just give me a personal message in my Facebook account. Andyan po yung pangalan ko in the lower sa video po na ito, may description na nakalagay. Andyan po yung pangalan ko sa Facebook. You can chat me personally, you can give me a direct message para at least I can give to you the PowerPoint presentation. Of course, in exchange for a very minimal price. Okay? Minimal lang po yung price po natin. And then you can give me a message para i-send ko po sa inyo ang PowerPoint presentation. Kung ano yung PowerPoint presentation na gagamitin ko po sa subject na ito, yun din po ang PowerPoint presentation na i-send ko po sa inyo. Okay? Salamat po mga ma'am and sir sa paggamit po sa Bicoino book, at the same time pag-advertise din po sa channel natin, at the same time pag-avail ng PowerPoint presentation. Okay? Now, Specialized Crime Investigation with Legal Medicine, mga kadete. I do not need to introduce myself. I think yung mga passers alam na po kung anong background ko as a person. I do not need to flaunt my achievement in life. You can know me through my complete name, Bimboy Coino, but I call myself as Bicoino. Okay? Anyway, without further ado mga kadete, puntahan natin ang definition ng special crime investigation. Bakit tinatawag siyang special crime? Special crime kasi po grupo siya. Okay? Special crime investigation kasi ang investigation na ito is specific only to certain group of crimes. Okay? Sa specialized criminal investigation with simulation of investigation, interview and interrogation, ang mga krimen doon na na-highlight are crimes against property. Okay? Dito, pag-usapan, special crime investigation, yung mga crimes against persons. At the same time, yung mga batas na nakalagay po in certain special laws. Okay? Special crime investigation kasi kailanganin niya ang tinatawag nating special investigative technique. Special, unique, peculiar, yung investigation na technique na gagamitin natin sa pag-investigate in these different crimes. I'd like to remind everyone that there are three aims of investigation. May tatlong aims po tayo. May tatlong aims or phases or goals of investigation. Huwag kalimutan, unang aim natin is to identify the suspect. Yun po ang unang aim ng investigation. Pangalawa, to identify at to locate and arrest the suspect. Yung una is to identify the suspect. Pangalawa, to locate and arrest the suspect. Pangatlo, to provide evidence of his guilt. Ang tatlong goals na ito shall be considered as our baselines in our investigation. Ito po yung tatargetin natin. Okay? So, pag special crime investigation, bakit siya special? Kasi nangailangan siya ng special investigation, special investigative techniques sa pag-investigate. Okay? This is also a special study of modern techniques in the investigation of serious and specific crimes including murder, homicide, so on and so forth. Gumagamit siya ng mga moderno na pamamaraan sa pag-investigate ng mga krimen. Ang i-highlight po natin sa special crime investigation are the following crimes: homicide, murder, parricide, abortion, rape, and other crimes against persons. Now, Unahin natin mga kadete itong tinatawag nating parricide. Okay? Lahat ng discussion saan naka-align ito sa table of specification. Una, na topic ko dyan, parricide. Okay? Crimes against person tayo. Tingnan natin ang definition. Any person who shall kill his father. Una ha, father. Pangalawa, mother or child. Father, mother, or child, whether legitimate or illegitimate. Pag-usapan natin kung ano yung illegitimate at saka illegitimate. Or any of his ascendants, descendants, or kanyang asawa, his spouse, shall be guilty of parricide. Punishment niya, reclusion perpetua. Reclusion perpetua, ibig sabihin, 20 years and 1 day to 40 years. Okay? 20 years and 1 day to 40 years. Reclusion perpetua. I-memorize nyo ha. Arresto minor, papuntang reclusion perpetua. Wala na po tayong death ha. Wala na po tayong death. Wala na po tayong capital punishment. Now, para mas maintindihan, himay-himayin natin ha. Unang element dito, may namatay. Okay? A person is killed. Pangalawa, ang namatay, the deceased, is killed by the accused. Pinatay ng akusado. Okay? Ang namatay, yung deceased, pinatay ng akusado. Pangatlo, ito ang pinaka-importante mga kadete, ang akusado, ang namatay, the deceased, is the accused. Ang namatay is may relationship siya. Now, I'd like to put into emphasis that number one, ang parricide po, it gives weight on blood relationship. Okay? Blood relationship ang pinaka-importante dito. Relationship, blood. Okay? Deceased is the accused una. Legitimate or illegitimate father. Now, ganito ha. Sa family Code of the Philippines, I also mentioned this one in juvenile delinquency na subject. May apat tayo na classification of children. Okay? Unang classification ha. Pag ang ama at saka yung ina, if the boy and the girl are married, okay, the man and the woman are married. Married sila, tapos nagkaanak, ang anak, tinatawag siyang legitimate child. Okay? I repeat, dalawang tao, lalaki, babae, nagpakasal, nagkaanak. Nagkaanak sila, ang anak, tinatawag siyang legitimate child. Ang ama, tinatawag na legitimate father. Ang ina, tinatawag siyang legitimate mother. Kasi kasado sila eh. Okay? Ang anak, tinatawag na legitimate child. Pangalawang kategory, pangalawang classification. Ang lalaki at saka babae, hindi sila kasado, nagbibimbang lang. Fubo, brad ba? Fubo. Fuck body lang. Nagkaanak pero walang commitment, hindi nagpakasal. Anong tawag sa bata? Ang tawag sa bata is illegitimate child. Anong tawag sa ina? Illegitimate mother. Ano ang tawag sa ama? Illegitimate father. Okay? Kasi hindi kasado eh. Pangatlo, ang lalaki at saka yung babae, hindi sila kasado, nagbibimbang, nagkaanak. Anong tawag sa anak? Illegitimate child. Pero kalaunan, after a certain period of time, nagpakasal. Illegitimate child siya, di ba? Una. Pero nagpakasal yung magulang. Anong tawag sa bata ngayon? Nagpakasal na yung magulang eh. Ang tawag ngayon is, ang bata, mag-transition siya from illegitimate magiging legitimated child. Okay? Legitimated child. Okay? Klaro yan ha? Pag legitimated child na siya. Ang ama magiging legitimate father. Ang ina magiging legitimate mother na. Pang-apat. Pag ang bata, hindi siya biological na anak ng ina at saka ng ama. Hindi siya biological. Ibig sabihin, yung bata is adopted. Okay? Pag adopted, tatawagin siyang adopted child. Apat na classification yan, Brad. Una, legitimate child, illegitimate child, legitimated child, and at the same time, pang-apat, adopted child. So, kailan magiging legitimate ang father? Legitimate ang father pag kasado sila at the same time yung anak, legitimate child nila. Okay? Illegitimate yung anak pag hindi kasado. Okay? So, importante dito na pag father pasok kahit legitimate or illegitimate, bata, pinatay niya yung ama niya. Kahit hindi niya, kahit legitimate father niya or illegitimate father niya, pasok pa din. Pangalawa, ang mother, kahit legitimate or hindi legitimate, pasok pa din po ang parricide. Okay? So, for example, hindi kasado yung ama at saka ina mo, pinatay mo yung ina, basically, ikaw is liable for parricide kahit illegitimate yung relationship. Pangtatlo, legitimate child or illegitimate child. Now, again pag ama, ina, anak, relationship, illegitimate or legitimate, pasok sa parricide. Now, huwag kalimutan sa parricide ganito Ang bata should not be less than 3 days. I repeat, ang bata should not be less than 3 days. Or ang bata should not be less than 72 hours. Kasi pag ikaw yung ina, pinatay mo yung bata mo less than 72 hours, ang krimen ngayon is hindi parricide but rather infanticide. Klaro? I repeat, ikaw yung ina, may anak ka, pinatay mo yung anak mo, less than 72 hours yung anak, blasubas yung ina or less than 3 days, ang krimen hindi siya parricide. Ang krimen is infanticide. Basta less than, makinig less than 3 days or less than 72 hours. Okay? Now, ang tricky part dito is itong letter D at saka letter E. Okay? Pag ascendant at saka descendant, dapat legitimate. Kasi pag hindi siya legitimate, pag illegitimate siya, Brad, hindi siya pasok sa parricide. Now, ano bang pinagkaiba ng ascendant at saka descendant? Pag ascendant, ibig sabihin from the word ascend, pataas, apo, papunta sa lolo at saka lola. Right? Yun po. Ascendant yun. Okay? Pag nagmula sa lolo at saka sa lola, descendant yun. Okay? Lolo, pinatay niya yung anak. So, that's descendant. Lolo going to the apo is descendant. Apo going to the lolo is ascendant. Lolo, papuntang apo, descend, pababa. Pero pag apo, papuntang lolo, ascendant. Okay? Pag descendant at saka descendant, dapat legitimate. Now, ang tanong ngayon, kailan maging legitimate ang ascendant at saka descendant? Ganito Una, dapat kasado yung lolo at saka lola. Dapat pangalawa, kasado din po yung ina mo at saka yung ama mo. Okay? Kasado sila, dalawang grupo. Unang grupo, yung lolo at saka lola mo, dapat kasado. Ikaw, yung ina mo at saka ang ama mo, kasado din po. Ikaw na po, legitimate ka na ascendant. Legitimate ka na ascendant. At the same time, yung relasyon mo, ikaw, papunta sa lolo mo, yung lolo mo, legitimate mo na descendant. Okay? I repeat. Lolo at saka lola, kasado. Ang ina at saka yung ama, kasado. Ikaw, legitimate ka na descendant. Kasi legitimate descendant in a sense that yung lolo papunta sa iyo, descendant. Okay? Ikaw descendant ka Descendant ka sa lolo at lola mo. Ikaw legitimate ka ng descendant. On the other hand, ikaw naman, yung relasyon mo, yung nagmula sa iyo papunta sa lolo mo, yung lolo at lola mo magiging legitimate din po na ascendant. Kasado sila ang dalawang grupo Now, ang tanong, what if ang lolo at lola hindi kasado? Pero ang ina mo at ang ama mo kasado. Ang tanong ngayon, magiging legitimate descendant ka ba? What if patayin ka? What if si person A yung lolo, si person C yung grandchild, pinatay niya yung grandchild, yung si person C, pero hindi kasado si lolo at saka lola, pwede ba? Mag-apply ba ang parasite? Ang sagot, hindi. Kasi ikaw, illegitimate ka. Again, I'd like to repeat, para magiging legitimate, dapat kasado si lolo at si lola, kasado din yung ama at saka yung ina mo. Okay? So, ikaw illegitimate ka. Hindi mag-a-apply ang parricide. Ano ang mag-a-apply? Mag-a-apply ngayon ang murder or homicide. Depende sa circumstances. Pwedeng murder pag may qualifying circumstance, pwedeng homicide pag wala. Okay? Pero ang punto dito, hindi mag-a-apply ang parricide. Another question. Kasado si lolo mo at saka kasado si lolo at si lola. Okay? Kasado si lolo at si lola. Pero hindi kasado yung ina at saka yung ama mo. Okay? Kasado si lolo at si lola, pero yung ina at saka yung ama mo, hindi kasado. Pag pinatay yung apo ni lolo, ano, mag-a-apply ba ang parricide? Ang sagot, hindi pa din. Kasi po, illegitimate ka. Again, to be very clear about it, para maging legitimate ka na descendant, pag ang apo, magiging legitimate descendant, kailanganin na ang lolo at saka lola kasado at saka yung ama at saka yung ina kasado. Pag hindi kasado sa dalawa, pag may isang hindi kasado sa dalawa, automatic magiging illegitimate ka. Hindi mag-a-apply ang parricide. Okay? So, legitimate descendant or legitimate ascendant. Now, let us say, si lolo at saka lola hindi kasado. Ina at saka yung ama kasado. Ikaw yung apo. Pinatay mo yung lolo mo. Ang tanong, legitimate ba o illegitimate yung lolo mo? Ang sagot, hindi. Kasi hindi sila kasado, ang lolo at lola mo. So basically, hindi pa din po mag-a-apply ang parricide. Pero pag i-twist natin yung tanong, hindi lolo ang pumatay. Ang pumatay sa iyo is iyong ama mo na hindi kasado sa iyong ina. Kailangan ba ang legitimate, illegitimate? Hindi. Kasi ang pumatay sa iyo is ama. So, a child whether legitimate or illegitimate, a father whether legitimate or illegitimate, pasok sa parricide. Ang pinag-usapan, ang requirement ng legitimacy ay doon lang po sa ascendant at saka descendant. I hope klarong-klaro yan. Ito, in-explain ko ito ng maigi pag face-to-face eh. I hope naintindihan. Pag hindi pa rin, may comment section dyan sa baba. Lagay kayo ng situation, i-answer natin. Letter F, legitimate spouse. Ano ibig sabihin ng spouse? Yung asawa, yung husband or yung wife. Pero kailanganin legitimate pa din. Ibig sabihin, dapat kasado yung ina at saka yung ama. So pag ang ina, pinatay niya yung asawa niya, yung husband. Yung wife, pinatay niya yung husband pero hindi sila kasado. Hindi mag-a-apply ang parricide. Ano mag-a-apply dyan? Murder or homicide. Sir, pag live-in, common law wife. Common law, ibig sabihin live-in. Common law wife, ibig sabihin live-in. Pinatay yung wife ni husband. Common law lang. Live-in lang. Mag-a-apply ba yung parricide? Hindi nga. Hindi mag-a-apply kasi nga po, ang kailanganin dito is legitimate spouse. Okay? I hope naintindihan. Now, may tinatawag tayong death under exceptional circumstance. Okay? Death under exceptional circumstance. Ito, dinescribe ko ito, in-explain ko ito sa Criminal Law Book 2. Now, ano ba ang death under exceptional circumstance? Dalawang mangyayari dyan. Una, married yung spouse, pero yung spouse was caught in the act having sexual intercourse with another person. So, ang ginawa ng asawa, kasi nakita niya nabisto niya. Pumunta yung asawa niya sa hotel, nakipagbimbang doon. Nakipagbimbang doon sa Sogo. So, pinuntahan niya. Pagpunta doon, nagalit siya in the spur of the moment and in the spur of anger, kumuha siya ng .45 caliber para pinatay niya. Pinatay niya yung asawa niya, pinatay niya yung kabimbang niya. Ang tanong ngayon, mag-a-apply ba ang parricide? Ang sagot, hindi. Kasi po ang mag-apply dito is death under exceptional circumstance. Sir, ang sabi mo kanina, legitimate spouse, kasado sila eh. Kahit nakasado, if the wife or the husband has been caught cheating, having sexual intercourse with another person, tapos pinatay ng asawa, ang mag-apply dito is death under exceptional circumstance. Ang punishment dito is hindi yung sa parricide, but rather, yung punishment dito is only destierro. Ano yung destierro? Ito yung modern form of banishment. Okay? Papalayasin ka. Minimum of 25 kilometers radius, maximum of 250 kilometers radius. Yun po ang destierro. What if sa destierro, sir? Let us say, ang binigay is 250 kilometers radius, bawal kang pumasok, pero pumasok ka kasi nag-attend ka sa fiesta. Pwede ka bang dakpin? Pwede. Ano ang i-file sa'yo? I-file sa'yo is evasion of service of sentence. Okay, yun po ha. Pangalawa, di ba kanina, legitimate or illegitimate child, pag pinatay, parricide. Correct, tama po yan. Pero again, sa death under exceptional circumstance, under number 2, pag ang isang bata, okay, below, a daughter daughter ang pinag-usapan dito, ang daughter po, below 18 years old, nagdala siya ng kanyang nobyo, doon mismo sa pamamahay ng parents. Mismo doon sa pamamahay. Kasi pag sa labas yan, pag sa hotel yan, pag sa boarding house yan, pag sa apartment yan, hindi pwede. Dapat dito, sa loob ng bahay ng parents, doon sila nagsisexual intercourse. Nagbibimbang sila doon sa loob. Walang respeto walang respeto. Especially yung mga Gen-Z na ito. Walang respeto sa pamilya. Dinala yung lalaki mismo doon sa bahay. Caught in the act by the parents. Nagalit yung parents, pinatay niya yung anak niya, pati yung nobyo. Mag-a-apply ba doon ang parricide? Hindi. Magiging pasok pa din po sa death under exceptional circumstance, punishable by destierro. Okay, kuha. Pero pag pinatay siya doon sa labas, sa boarding house, apartment, sa hotel, ay dito mag-a-apply ngayon ang parricide. Kuha. Alright, so yan po, parricide ha. Now, important notes that we are going to understand in terms of parricide. Pag Muslim mga kadete, ang maximum nila na pwedeng magpakasal is 4 times, 4 na wives, okay? 4 wives maximum pwede ang Muslim. Hindi pwede pa 5, dapat 4 wives lang. Now, ang parricide po will only apply on the killing of the first wife. I repeat, on the killing of the first wife only. Pag pinatay ang second wife, pinatay ang third wife, makinig ka, pinatay din po ang fourth wife, hindi kasali sa parricide. Okay? Ano ang mag-a-apply? Murder at saka homicide. Yun po ang mag-a-apply. Depende sa circumstances. Again, pero pag ang first wife yung pinatay ng husband, doon mag-a-apply ang tinatawag nating parricide. Again, pag spouse, dapat kasado siya sa first wife. Okay? Pangalawa, a stranger who cooperates in committing parricide is liable for murder or homicide. Klarong-klaro mga kadete. For example, si Alice, gusto niyang ipapatay yung asawa niya na si Bato. Gusto ipapatay si Bato kasi wala na Ay, hindi na marunong si Bato. So, lonely is the night without you. So, sinabihan niya si Lapid, patayin mo yung asawa ko para at least makapag-establish ako ng new relationship with other persons. So pumunta si Lapid, kumuha ng .45, binaril yung asawa ni Alice. Ano ang liability ni Alice? Liability niya, siya yung asawa, hindi parricide siya. Knowing kasado sila Kasado siya, si Bato at saka si Alice. Si Lapid, yung assassin, pinatay niya yung husband ni Alice, ano ang liability niya? Pasok siya ngayon sa murder. Okay? Murder. Right? Pag hindi sinuhulan, pag wala namang payment or reward, pwedeng pasok sa homicide. Pero pag may soul kasi, may reward kasi yung pagpatay. So, automatic murder yan. Pero pag wala, it will fall under homicide. Depende po sa circumstances. Okay? Depende po. Sunod, even if the offenders did not know that the person he had killed is his son, is his son, he is still liable for parricide because the law does not require knowledge of the relationship. Klarong-klaro, Brad. Kahit hindi mo alam, okay? Ignorance of the relationship. Klarong-klaro ha, inilagay ko na po. Ignorance of the relationship is not material in the crime of parricide. For example, ikaw, pinatay mo si Pedro. Galit ka pinatay mo. Namatay si Pedro. After a week, nalaman mo na si Pedro pala was your son that you were looking for 10 years. Di ba? Mapagbiro ang panahon, boy. Pinatay mo Nung namatay na yung tao, doon mo nalaman na anak mo pala yun, Brad. Hindi mo alam. Ang tanong ngayon, mag-a-apply ba ang parricide? Mag-a-apply kasi nga po, ignorance of the relationship is immaterial in the crime of parricide. Okay? Klarong-klaro. Number 4. Ang pagpatay sa brother or ang pagpatay sa sibling, brother or sister, hindi siya parricide. Ang kaso could fall on homicide or murder. Ang pagpatay sa uncle, sa tita, sa tito, hindi siya parricide. Papasok siya ngayon sa homicide or murder. Okay? Ang pagpatay sa bayaw, ipapasok siya ngayon sa homicide or murder. Ang pagpatay sa kuya, pagpatay sa ate, hindi siya pasok sa parricide, pasok siya sa homicide or murder. Depende sa circumstances ha. At the same time, yung pagpatay sa adopted child, hindi mag-a-apply ang parricide, mag-a-apply ang murder or homicide. Okay? Klarong-klaro yan. Sunod. Tingnan natin yung mga special investigative techniques, approaches in the conduct of criminal investigation of the crime homicide. Now, unang approach dito, physical or crime scene approach. Pag physical or crime scene approach, ang purpose nito is ang pag-collect sa physical evidence. Ang tanong, ano ba ang physical evidence? Ang physical evidence, ito yung mga things, material, or substances that are found at the crime scene. Mag-jot down kayo ha. Ito yung mga substances or things or materials found at the crime scene. Pero ang tanong sa February 2025 Criminologist Licensure Examination, hindi yung materials and substances found at the crime scene na tumutukoy sa physical evidence. Ang nakalagay doon, evidence that has mass, M-A-S-S, that has mass and occupy space. Ano ibig sabihin ng mass? May length, may width, may height, tangible. Pwede mong ma-touch. Tangible siya. So, anything that has mass and occupy space, ang tamang sagot pa din po, physical evidence. Okay? So, sa physical evidence, sa physical or crime scene approach, ano ang purpose nito? Collection and analysis of physical evidence. Okay? So, ang physical evidence natin, tatlong klase yan, Brad ha? Tatlong klase yan. Una, corpus delicti evidence or body of the crime. Ibig sabihin ng body of the crime, ito yung mga evidence that will prove the elements of crime. Maglista ka dyan. Ito yung mga evidence that will prove the elements of crime. Pag associative evidence, ito yung mga evidence, let us say for example, blood stains, semen, ito yung evidence that will link the suspect to the crime scene. Link the suspect to the crime scene. Pag evidence to assist the investigator in locating the suspect, assist, yung word, assist in locating the suspect, ang tawag po doon is tracing evidence. Corpus delicti, associative, at saka tracing. Pag magtanong ang board, ang fingerprint, anong klaseng physical evidence yan? Ang sagot, associative evidence. Pag blood, ito din po ay associative evidence. Okay? So, una, under physical or crime scene approach, secure the scene to prevent contamination. Una dito, cordon the crime scene ha. Pag magtanong ang board examination, the first thing that you will do upon arrival at the crime scene, ang sagot, cordon the crime scene. Pero pag i-twist sa board examination, ang tanong, naka-cordon na yung crime scene, cordon by the first responder already, and you are the team leader of the SOCO or the team leader of the CSI. Upon arrival at the crime scene, nakita mo, naka-cordon na. Ano ang pinakaunang gawin? Ang pinakaunang gawin mo, mag-establish ka ng command post. Ano yung command post? Ito yung area adjacent to the crime scene para doon ka mag-briefing and orientation. Sino ang mag-conduct ng briefing or orientation? Ang first responder. Sino ang i-briefing niya? Ang team leader. Bakit first responder ang mag-briefing? First responder kasi siya ang nauna na dumating dyan. Okay, ang command post din po, yan po ang area yan po ang area where the evidence, pieces of evidence are what do we call this? Are accepted. Okay? Doon po inilagay, doon po sinasubmit sa command post, okay? Next, documenting the scene through photographs, sketches and notes, okay? Again, pag-photograph ganito, may tinatawag tayong general view, medium or mid-range view, at the same time may tinatawag tayong close-up at saka extremely close-up. Okay? General view, ibig sabihin yung overall crime scene. Pag mid-range or medium view, ito yung pag-divide natin sa crime scene into different pictures. Okay? Mid-range. Pag close-up, ito yung pagkuha natin ng photograph on a particular evidence. For example, pag knife yan, close-up ang gagamitin natin. Pero pag minute, very small ang detail ng isang ebidensya, natural ang gagamitin natin is close-up, extremely close-up view. Okay? So, general, mid-range or medium, close-up, at saka extremely close-up na photograph. Pag sketch naman, Brad, dalawang klase yan. Yung sketch na ginagawa doon sa crime scene, ang tawag doon rough sketch. Tsaka yung sketch na finalized na siya for court presentation na, ang tawag doon finished sketch. Okay? So, yun ha. Pag magtanong on board, ano ang bang let us say, ano ang gagawin? Patay na yung tao eh. Patay na yung tao. Kailan ka mag-photograph? I-remove mo lang yung katawan ng tao pag tapos ka na sa sketch, measurement, photograph, so on and so forth. Pero pag buhay pa yung tao, pag buhay pa ang tao, wag mo munang i-photograph. Mag-photograph ka lang pag na-remove na yung buhay na tao from the crime scene, especially if that person is injured. Okay? So, documenting the scene through photographs, sketches, and notes. Locating the weapon used, firearm, knife, blood. Ano ibig sabihin ng blood object? Ito yung mga object na hindi naman sharp. Okay? Hindi siya sharp. For example, 2x2 na kahoy. That's a blood object. Collecting evidence such as fingerprints, bloodstains, DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid or DNA, and fibers. Reconstructing the sequence of events to determine if the killing was deliberate or intentional ba, accidental ba, or in self-defense. Okay? Yun po ay physical or crime scene approach. Ibig sabihin, pag-collecta po at pag-analyze sa mga physical evidence. Pangalawa, psychological or behavioral approach. It's pag-iisip. Tingnan mo ang pag-iisip ng isang tao. Titingnan mo ngayon yung emotional conflicts ng suspetsado. Baka may mental illness siya or may family dysfunction. Anong ibig sabihin ng family dysfunction? Baka nag-aaway sila. Or baka there is a marriage issue. Okay? May marriage issue, caught in the act yung husband ng babae, or probably yung wife has caught having an affair with somebody. So nagalit yung husband kaya pinatay. Okay? So, saan mo malalaman yan? Through psychological or behavioral approach. Hindi sa una. Kasi yung sa una, yung physical or crime scene approach, sa physical evidence yon. Ito, sa psychological or mental conditions. Okay? Una, mental and emotional state of the suspect before na-commit ang krimen, during at saka after the crime. Pangalawa, psychological evaluation of the suspect. Dito titingnan ngayon kung nagsasuffer ba siya ng depression. Psychosis, anong ibig sabihin ng psychosis? Ito yung loss of contact with reality. Ibig sabihin, yung mga asal mo hindi na naaayon kung ano ang nasa realidad. For example, pag nakipag-usap na siya sa kahoy, nakipag-usap na siya sa wall, nakipag-usap na yan sa poste, hindi na yan naaayon sa realidad. Kasi ang realidad, nakipag-usap ka sa kapwa-tao. Kuha? So, ano ang tawag? Psychosis. Ang psychosis, may klase-klase yan. We have schizophrenia, delusion, illusion, hallucination. I will not talk about it. Nasa intro to crime yan. Okay? Then history of abuse, resentment. Ano yung resentment? Treated unfairly. Okay? Unjustly. May maltreatment may maltreatment or trauma. Family dynamics such as the history of violence, neglect, or power struggles, statements and behavior of the suspect. Calm ba siya? Kalmado ba? Remorse. Ibig sabihin ng remorse, is he regretting? May regret ba? Okay? Or indifference? Wala lang. Okay lang. Parang wala lang nangyari. Can reveal motives of the guilt. So, psychological or behavioral approach para matingnan natin ang emosyon, mental illness, family dysfunction, emotional conflicts ng isang suspitsado. Pangatlo, dito ka na mag-proceed ng interview and interrogation approach. Again, pag interview, sino yung focus mo? Sino yung kini-question mo? Kini-question mo yung witnesses. Pag interrogation, sino yung kini-question mo? Ang kini-question mo yung suspitsado. Now, pag suspitsado, interrogation, ang line of questioning is accusatory. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng mga yan, close-ended question, usually answerable by yes or no. Ikaw ba ang pumatay? Basically, accusatory yan. So, interrogation. Pero ang sa interview, open-ended questions. Yung mga questions that will require the witness to narrate. Okay? Yun po ang pagkaiba ng interrogation at saka interview. Interrogation, sino yung kini-question natin? Suspitsado. Interview, sino yung kini-question natin? Yung witnesses or yung biktima. Okay? Witness interviews, neighbors, relatives, lahat-lahat po, suspect interrogation para makuha natin yung confession and admission. Okay? Confession and admission at the same time, understanding the victim's habits, lifestyle, relationship with the suspects that will also help identify possible motives. Baka revenge yan, baka may sa inheritance or baka may abuse. Okay? Victimology. Ibig sabihin, titingnan mo, pag victimology, titingnan mo ang contribution ng biktima sa kanyang pagkabiktima. In English, the contribution of the victim in his or her own victimization. Baka nabiktima ka kasi burara ka eh. Asawa ka, you are the wife. Pagdating ng husband, pagod na pagod, here comes the wife, talking like a, ano ba yan? Parang flip top ba ang tawag dyan? Ang bilis, di ba? Pagod na yung husband, here comes the wife, nagagalit, panay shouting. Okay? So, pag ikaw yung husband, pag napuno ka na, bugbugin mo ngayon yung wife mo. Di ba? So, namatay yung wife. Oh. So, kasi tayong mga lalaki, ayaw natin eh. Especially me. I really wanted peace in life. Bahala wala ng happiness. Kahit hindi walang happiness, I prioritize peace over happiness. I do not like when I am distressing, mga kadete. If I am distressing, it's very simple. I go to the sea, I go fishing alone, or number 2, I watch a movie. And when I watch a movie, I watched it alone. I do not want somebody to watch with me. Yun po. Distressing. Ayaw ko ng I don't like noise. So, pag ang husband, napuno na eh. Suntukin mo ngayon yung wife mo. Hindi namatay yung wife. So, victimology. Ano yung contribution ng asawa? Contribution ng asawa, putak ng putak, parang manok. So, yun po. Contribution niya. So, interview and interrogation approach. Pang-apat po is forensic or scientific approach. Okay? So dito, titingnan ngayon ang mga scientific methods. Okay? And hindi titingnan, i-utilize ngayon ang mga scientific methods in the crime laboratory para at least ma-establish ang criminal parricide. Dito nakalagay forensic pathology. Pag forensic pathology, ibig sabihin, ina-apply ito sa justice or law enforcement. Tinitingnan ang pagkamatay ng tao. Ano ang cause of death of the person? Okay? As applied in criminal investigation or justice. Okay? So, forensic pathology, tinitingnan ang cause of death or the manner that the person died. Ano ang pamamaraan sa pagdetermine? Autopsy. Okay, autopsya yung tao. Ang pagdetermine sa cause of death through autopsy, tinatawag siyang forensic pathology. Sunod, DNA analysis. I-link yung suspect to biological evidence such as blood or hair. Dito din po, ang DNA tinitingnan kung ano po ba talaga ang relasyon if anak versus ama. If ama versus anak. So, let us say for example, hindi alam ng ama na anak pala niya yung namatay, yung pinatay niya, nalaman niya late na. So, one way to establish or to prove na talagang anak niya yan is through deoxyribonucleic acid. Then, if weapon is used, punta tayo sa forensic ballistics and then toxicology test para tingnan yung presence of poison, alcohol, drug sa biktima or sa suspitsado. Okay? Panglima, itong tinatawag nating legal and documentary approach. Ano ba ang purpose ng legal or documentary approach? Titingnan ngayon ang mga procedure ng investigator na nakapag-comply sa mga legal procedure para at least yung ebidensya natin magiging admissible. Okay? Dapat documented siya. Dapat legal. Legal kasi naaayon sa batas, sa standard of procedure ng batas. Una, proper documentation of evidence and chain of custody. Hindi ako mag-concentrate sa una, mag-concentrate ako sa pangalawa kasi lumabas yan sa board examination. Ano ang chain of custody? Chain of custody, ibig sabihin from the word custody, ang pagpasa ng ebidensya from one police officer to the other. Okay? Chain, kasi nga po, para siyang talagang chain. Kadena. Okay? Pag kadena yan, di ba, nakakonect yan. So, pag ako ang may kustodiya sa fingerprint evidence, tapos ibigay ko sa iyo, tapos ikaw ibigay mo naman sa crime lab, dapat documented yung pagbigay ko sa iyo, at the same time siya na nagbigay sa crime lab, dapat documented yan. Okay? Chain of custody. Ang tanong sa board examination, what is the necessary measure to preserve integrity of evidence? Mga kadete, ganito ha. Pag integrity of evidence ang pinag-usapan, ang tamang sagot dyan is chain of custody. Establish chain of custody. Pag na-establish ang chain of custody ng ebidensya, na-establish din po ang integrity of the evidence. Ang tanong, what if broken yung chain of custody? Will the evidence be considered as admissible in court? Hindi. Pag broken yung chain of custody, ang ebidensya magiging fruit of the poisonous tree. Ebidensya na hindi magiging admissible kasi mali-mali yung procedure. So, dapat na-establish yung chain of custody para ma-establish din ang integrity of the evidence. Lumabas yan, Brad. Compliance with the Miranda rights. Ano ba yung mga Miranda rights natin, mga kadete? During arrest or interrogation. Una, right to be informed of the cause and nature of accusation. Informed accused about the nature and cause of accusation. Pangalawa, the right to remain silent. Pangatlo, the right to counsel. Tanong sa board examination. Sa tatlong Miranda rights, anong right ang hindi pwedeng ma-waive or hindi pwedeng ma-surrender? Okay? Common sense. Common sense ang gamitin natin. Ano ang right hindi pwedeng ma-waive or hindi ma-surrender? Pag pangatlo, right to counsel, pwede ba siyang ma-waive? Pwede bang ma-surrender? Ang sagot, yes. Right to counsel. Paano? Pag lawyer ka, kailanganin mo ba ang isang lawyer para magdepensa sa'yo? Hindi na. Pwede na. But you can waive your right to counsel kasi lawyer ka na eh. Okay? Pero if you want to exercise, pwede din po, mag-hire ka ng lawyer. Pero ang punto dito is, pwede mo bang ma-waive? Pwede, pag lawyer ka eh. Pag ako lawyer ako, why do I need another lawyer to defend myself? I will waive the third Miranda right. Pwede siyang ma-waive. Pangalawa, right to remain silent. Pwede ba siyang ma-waive? Pwede. Pwede. Through what? Confession and admission. Pag nag-admit ka, pag nag-confess ka doon sa police station, you surrendered your right to remain silent. Kaya yung ibang mga suspitsado, napaka mautak. If the police officer will ask them in the interrogation, did you kill that person? The suspect will not talk because the suspect thinks that he has the right to remain silent. Pwede ba yun? Pwede. Pero yung una, Brad, the right to be informed of the cause and nature of accusation, hindi pwedeng i-waive yan. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin doon sa korte, Your Honor, wag mo na akong inform, Sir Police, wag mo na akong inform kung ano ang dahilan bakit I got arrested. No, you have to be informed. Hindi po pwede siyang ma-waive. Bakit po? Because in order for you to defend yourself, you should know what crime you have been accused with. Yan ang sagot. Okay? So, di siya pwedeng ma-waive. So, dapat na compliant ka ha sa Republic Act 7438. Sa Republic Act 7438, the rights of the accused under custodial investigation. Plus, by the way, yung body-worn camera, pang-apat po, you have to inform. Diba? Tatlo yung Miranda rights. May pang-apat niyan. Yung pang-apat is related to body-worn camera. You have to inform during arrest or during search that the search or the arrest has been recorded by the body-worn camera. Okay. Sunod, verification of relationship between victim and offender. Paano mo malaman? Documentary evidence pa din po. Anong mga documents to prove the relationship? Birth certificate. Sunod, marriage contract. So, kung ano-ano man ang documentary evidence na pwede mo magamit. Crucial po ito ha para malaman pag may relationship ba. Okay? Lastly, sociological or environmental approach. Ito'y nag-i-examine sa mga social, ano ibig sabihin ng social? Yung community factor or environmental factor that contributed to the crime. O na, baka may problema, poverty, economic problem, or inheritance dispute. Nag-aaway yung lolo at saka yung apo. Nag-aaway yung apo at saka lola, okay? Kasi may disagreement in relation to the real property, okay? Or maybe because of family pressure, pinipressure mo yung anak mo, okay? To the point na nagalit na. Cultural influences regarding parental authority or family honor, okay? For example, yung babae, palaging nagna-nightlife, religious family kayo, nagagalit yung ama at ina, parating sinasabihan yung anak, huwag mong gagawin yan. And then the daughter kept on doing, you know, very deviant acts, especially yung mga bata na talagang lalayas from the household. Gusto nila magiging talagang they will go along with their boyfriend or girlfriend. Talagang hindi pa sabi eh. Binigyan mong advice, talagang they will flee. So to protect the honor, probably the parent get angry about it, pinatay. So pwede yan as one of the factors. Community perceptions and possible external stressor, for example, per influence or isolation or kahit ano pang mga environmental and sociological factors. Okay? That contributed to the crime of parricide. Okay? Parricide po. Pangalawa, itong murder mga kadete, murder. Basahin natin, any person who not falling within the provisions of Article 246, pinatay niya yung isang tao, shall kill another. Guilty siya ng murder, punishment niya, reclusion perpetua pa din po. Ano yung reclusion perpetua? As I have stated a while ago, 20 years and 1 day to 40 years. Then, wag kalimutan, ito ang pinaka-importante na parte, dapat sa pagpatay may qualifying or attending circumstances. Ano ba yung mga attendant or qualifying circumstances para maging murder yung killing? Una, with treachery. Okay, ano yung treachery? Alibos siya ang other term niya. Treachery, ibig sabihin, trahidor. Bakit trahidor? Because you are not giving the chance, you are not giving chance to the victim to defend himself. Okay? Ano ibig sabihin? Hindi mo binigyan ng oras na makapagdepensa siya. You do not give him the chance to defend himself. While he was walking in the alley in a particular dark time, you hide yourself. And after the person passed by, kumuha ka, bumunot ka ng .45 caliber, binaril mo. Wala siyang tsansa to defend himself. Ano yon? Treachery, mga trahidor. Okay? Sir, yung nangungutang pero hindi binabayaran, trahidor ba yon? Hindi kasali yan ha, yung hindi nagbayad ng utang. Tumit me ka, sir, hoy mga kadete, pag may mga utang kayo, bayaran nyo ha. Pero killing ang pinag-usapan natin dito ay hindi utang, okay? Hindi mo binigyan ng time to or chance to defend himself, treachery. Naglagay ka ng toxin or poison sa kanyang inumin. Of course, he has no chance to defend himself. Ininom niya. So basically, treachery yan. Pangalawa, taking advantage of superior strength. May tanong sa board examination, nakalagay doon. A person killed a child. O, hindi naman sinabi na less than 72. A person killed a child. Pasok dyan ang murder. Okay? Murder. Kasi nga po, superior strength taking advantage of superior strength. Or probably, nag-aaway kayo. Let us say, fist versus .45 caliber firearm. Nag-aaway kayo. Diba? Siya, yung kalaban mo, kumpiyansa sa sarili kasi may firearm siya eh. So basically, may superiority siya over you. Okay? Advantage of superior strength, for example, another example, yung 30 years old, pinatay niya yung 7 years old. Pumatol sa 7 years old eh. So superior strength, murder will apply. With the aid of armed men. Ano ibig sabihin ng armed men dito? Ibig sabihin armed men, mga katdete, ito yung mga tao provided with weapons or for defense or offense. Okay? For example, nag-iisa ka lang, marami sila, nagdala ng mga bolo or samurai. Of course, you will die in that moment. Kasi nga po, ikaw lang. So, murder will apply. Or employing means to weaken the defense. Ano yung means to weaken the defense? Galit yung tao sa'yo. So, sabi ng tao, Brad, pwede ba kitang i-invite, mag-inuman tayo? Okay, di ba? So, nag-inuman kayo, hindi mo alam na ang intention pala ng kalaban mo is to intoxicate you kasi paglasing ka na, di ba? You are already weakened. So, nung lasing na yung tao, doon na po pinatay. Kasi lasing na eh, to weaken the defense of the person. So, ang krimen, pasok pa din po ang murder. Or of men or persons to ensure or afford impunity. Okay? So, sa number 1, andyan na ha, lahat. Pag nakapasok dyan yung circumstance, pasok tayo sa murder. Number 2, pag may price, reward, or promise, automatic, murder siya. So, for example, pag ako, sinabihan ko yung hitman, bigyan kita ng 20,000, patayin mo ang tao na to. So, basically, automatic. Involve ang price or reward or promise, magiging qualifying or attending circumstance yan para sa murder. Number 3, by means of inundation. We say inundation, yung paggamit ng tubig. For example, you drown a person, okay? Or you use fire, poison, or explosion, or shipwreck. Ano ito shipwreck? When you say shipwreck, mga kadete, naglagay ka ng bomba siguro sa isang vessel and then you explode it. Okay? Shipwreck or stranding of a vessel. Killing by stranding of a vessel. Ibig sabihin na stranded siya. Ibig sabihin, you tend to devoid or you tend to stop the motion of the vessel while traversing inside the sea. So, hindi na siya pwedeng, wala na eh, giniba mo yung machine or giniba mo yung anything part of the necessary part of the vessel para hindi siya makapag-move, na stranded siya. Pinatay mo yung mga tao, basically, murder will apply. Derailment or assault upon a streetcar or locomotive, fall of an airship, that's very understandable. Or by means of motor vehicles, gumamit ka ng motor vehicle to kill somebody. Pero dapat intentional ha, dapat may plano. Kasi pag nakapatay ka ng driver ka, nakapatay ka naman ng isang tao by means of motor vehicles, hindi naman it's not intentional. Okay, it's not intentional, nakapatay ka, ang mag-apply doon is reckless imprudence resulting to homicide. Pero pag pinaplano mo, gusto yung patayin mo yung isang tao by means of a motor vehicle, of course, murder will apply. Or with the use of any means involving great waste and ruin. Okay? Yan po. 1, 2, 3, attending qualifying circumstances of murder. Okay? May other attending circumstances, pero pag-usapan muna natin yung alivosya, mga kadete ha. Ang sabi ko kanina, treachery or alivosya, ito yung you are not giving opportunity of the person to defend himself. Okay? Accused made some preparation to kill the victim in such a manner to ensure the execution of the crime or make it possible or hard for the person attacked to defend himself. Anong sabi dyan? May plano, pinaplano mo para talagang siguradong makonsummate mo ang pagpatay. But killing done at the spur of the moment is not treacherous. Ano ibig sabihin ng spur of the moment? Spontaneous. Walang plano. Nagiinuman lang kayo as good friends. But instantly, nag-argue kayo over a favorite color. Sabi mo, favorite color mo is red. Ang sa kanya is favorite color black. So, nagtatalo-talo kayo because of the favorite color to the point na naghampasan kayo ng botelya. Red horse battle, inamatay yung kaibigan mo. Ano ngayon ang krimen? Spur of a moment homicide lang ang mag-a-apply. Okay? Again, hindi po murder ang pagpatay ng isang tao if it is done in a spur of a moment. Spontaneous siya. Okay? Pero hindi siya spur in a moment, pinagplano mo, dyan magkaalaman na talagang murder siya. Abuse of superior strength and ito, nighttime. Mag-concentrate ako sa nighttime ha. Nighttime are absorbed in treachery. Ano ibig sabihin dyan? You perpetrate the killing during dark. Okay? Para sureball na hindi siya makapag-defense sa kanyang sarili, you do it during nighttime. Attack was executed in such a manner as to make it impossible for the victim to retaliate, like for example, putting poison. The killing of the victim frontally does not negate treachery. Klaro yan ha. When the victim was killed after already being in a helpless situation, helpless condition. Okay? The killing of the victim frontally, ibig sabihin, hindi siya nakatalikod, ibig sabihin front does not negate treachery. When the victim was killed after already being in a helpless condition, ibig sabihin nito, pinatay po, hindi siya nakatalikod. Hindi siya nakatalikod, pero helpless na. Okay? Helpless siya For example, nilasing mo muna. Sinaksak mo ngayon. Tapos, hindi siya nakatalikod, sinaksak mo uli. Helpless na helpless. Or yung tao na disgrasya siya. Pagdating sa pagpunta mo doon, it so happened that the person was your long-time enemy. So sabi ng tao, tulungan mo ako. But instead of giving him help, kumuha ka ng kutsilyo, sinaksak mo. And you do it frontally. Helpless na ngayong tao, pinatay mo pa. So ano ang kaso dyan? Murder. It may also be appreciated even if the attack was frontal but no less than unexpected and sudden, giving the victim no opportunity to repel it or offer any defense of his person. Okay? Mga kalita, ganito ha. Naka-frontal man or naka-back yung positioning niya, still, the basis of knowing whether the crime is treacherous or not is dependent on the surrounding circumstances. Hindi ibig sabihin na nakatalikod siya, automatic murder na. Do not make it's a very wrong interpretation if you use frontal and back position as your basis in knowing whether there is murder or homicide. Worst, if you think na ang homicide walang intent to kill at saka murder may intent to kill, nako, maling-mali yan. Talagang Huwag kayong maniwala sa mga post na yan sa Facebook ha, na pag homicide walang intent to kill, pag murder may intent to kill. Ay nako, talagang maling-mali yan Okay, again, do not make it as the baseline, yung frontal at saka back position. You have to depend it on the surrounding circumstances. Let us say, for example, magkaibigan kayo, nagiinuman kayo. Again, lasing na kayo, you got into an argument. Ang argument is on the favorite color. Favorite color mo, red, sa kanya is black. So, naghahampasan kayo ng battle of red horse. Okay? Naghampasan kayo. Now, eventually, kumuha siya ng red horse. Natural, pag kukuha siya ng red horse battle, tatalikod siya. Ikaw may red horse battle na, di ba? Naghahampasan na kayo So, while katalikod siya, pinampas mo uli. Paghampas mo na, natamaan sa ulo, namatay yung tao, back position yun Hindi po siya doon, hindi po automatic ma-fall under murder. Okay? Again, wag mong gawing frontal at back position. You do not make the positioning of the victim as the immediate baseline in knowing whether the crime is murder or homicide. Much more, do not consider the intention in knowing whether a crime is murder or homicide. Okay? Pag may nakalagay dyan sa Facebook, homicide, pinatay sa bahay. Pag murder, hindi pinatay sa bahay, doon sa labas. Tapos nagsishare ka? Huwag kang mag-share ha, siraulo ka. Huwag kang mag-share, maling-mali yan. Nakapag-graduate ka na natutulog ka ba during classroom discussion? Ay nako. Ay, God help the criminology profession. Okay? Sige, tapos na po yung 1, 2, and 3 ha, na qualifying circumstances. Punta tayo sa 4, 5, and 6. Okay? 4, 5, and 6. Sa number 4, on occasion of any calamities, okay? The killing is done on occasion of calamities. Pwede during earthquake, pwede during eruption of a volcano, pwede destructive cyclone. Ano yung destructive cyclone? During typhoon, okay? Or during epidemic or other public calamities, okay? Pinatay mo yung tao. In these occasions, qualifying circumstance pa din po for the crime of murder. Next, with evident premeditation. Pag-usapan natin ang evident premeditation on the next slide. Number 6, with cruelty. Ano ibig sabihin ng with cruelty? Tinutorture mo, Tinutorture mo by deliberately and inhumanly augmenting the suffering of the victim or simply prolonging the suffering of the person. Tinorture bago pinatay. Ay nako, murder yan. Or ito, outraging or scoffing at his person or corpse. Anong ibig sabihin dyan? Ibig sabihin, you mockery on the dead body of the person. After mo pinatay yung tao, kinuha mo yung ulo, tapos dinala mo sa bahay as a souvenir. Or, pinatay mo yung tao, pagkatapos na namatay yung tao, inihian mo. Demonyo ka Inihian mo yung patay. That's mockery, scoffing the dead body or the corpse of the victim. Basically, pasok ka ngayon sa murder. Okay? So mga kadets, ganito ha. Pag andyan yung number 1, qualifying circumstance, number 2, andyan, number 3, andyan, number 4, andyan, number 5, number 6, pag isa sa kanila present as a qualifying or attending circumstance, murder na Brad. Okay? Murder ha, pag may qualifying circumstance present. Again, ano itong evident premeditation? Pag pre, ibig sabihin before. Okay? Meditation. Ano ibig sabihin ng meditation? Meditation means to contemplate. Pinag-isipan mo. Pinag-isipan. Premeditation. Meaning, before you execute the crime, pinag-isipan mo. Okay? Ano ibig sabihin ng evident? Klaro. Clear. Klaro pa kaysa sikat ng araw. So, evident premeditation, ibig sabihin, the execution of the criminal act must be preceded by cool thought and reflection upon the resolution to carry out the criminal intent during the space of time sufficient to arrive at a calm judgment. Anong ibig sabihin dyan? Evident premeditation. Ibig sabihin, before mo in-execute yung criminal act, yung mindset mo, cool. Ano ibig sabihin ng cool thought? Ibig sabihin, na-pacify na po yung emotional arousal mo, for example. Let us say, nakita mo yung misis mo, may kabimbang ng iba. Hindi mo pinatay agad So, pag pinatay mo yun agad, pasok sana sa death under exceptional circumstance. Pero naghintay ka pa ng 1 araw o 2 araw kasi pinaplanuhan mo, napuntahan mo yung kalagoyo niya para patayin mo, saksakin mo. Ay nako, may span of time for you to cool your anger. May span of time na Pag pinatay mo agad sana, pasok lang yun sa death under exceptional circumstance. Pero wala Wala. So, nakita mo, sabi mo, okay lang, sige. Nakita ko kayo, you are having the bimbang. Okay, fine with me. Hintayin ko kayo after 1 week, magpaplano ko ako kung paano ko kayo papatayin. Ay, iba na yan. So, may evident premeditation na. Okay? Evident premeditation is observed in price, reward, or promise. Pag may nakasali na reward or promise, ipa-assassinate yung isang tao, automatic absorb yung evident premeditation. Okay? So, pagpasok yung 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6, may present. It's either of the 6 qualifying circumstances, pwede po napasok na doon ang krimen na murder. Okay? Now, board exam question. Okay? Lagyan natin ng board exam question. The accused not intending to kill the victim. Huwag kalimutan, wala siyang intensyon para patayin yung biktima. Treacherously shot the victim while the victim was turning his back to him. Okay? Wala siyang intensyon to kill ha. Binaril niya habang nakatalikod. He aimed at and hit the victim only on the leg. Leg nga, kasi nga, wala siyang intensyon. The victim, however, died because of the loss of blood. Nagka-hemorrhage eh. Can the accused be liable for homicide or murder considering that the treachery was clearly involved but there was no attempt to kill? Tingnan natin yung definition ng murder. Sa definition ng murder, mga ka-editid, dapat po talagang may intention ka. Pero ang sabi ko kanina, the absence or the presence of the intent to kill should not be the direct baseline in differentiating between homicide and murder. I'd like to repeat. The intention to kill should not be the direct basis in knowing whether the crime is murder or homicide. Dapat magbase tayo sa qualifying circumstance. Now, ganito. Wala siyang intention to kill somebody, binaril niya lang doon sa leg habang nakatalikod. Mag-a-apply ba dito yung murder, parricide, physical injury, or none of the above? Automatically, huwag kang mag-answer ng parricide, right? Huwag ka ding mag-answer ng physical injury. Okay? Namatay yung tao eh. Okay? Puwera na lang pag buhay siya pero namatay eh. So, hindi mag-apply ang parricide at physical injury. Ang mag-apply dito, it's either murder or none of the above. Okay? Now, pag direct, natural, and logical consequences of the felonious act, now, although different from what is intended, then the specific intent to kill is absent. The crime for the said death is only homicide. Okay, homicide lang ha. Homicide. Okay? Homicide lang ang krimen. Why? Kahit treacherous siya, pero wala ka namang intention to kill the person, you just hit him on the leg, ang nangyari lang, nagka-hemorrhage siya, then namatay siya. Hindi murder. Ang mag-apply dito is homicide. Okay? Pero pag ibahin natin yung tanong, you have the intention to kill that person, you treacherously kill him while he was turning his back, pasok yung murder. Pero dito wala kang intention eh. Okay? So ang sagot dyan is only homicide. So walang homicide, so letter D, delta ang sagot po. Pangalawang board exam question. Si Candido stabbed an innocent bystander who accidentally bumped him. Okay? The innocent bystander died as a result of the stabbing. Siguro naglakad siya, then the bystander bumped him, okay? Or hit him. So, he stabbed the bystander. Candido was arrested and was tested to be positive of shabu. Ano ang krimen ngayon? Murder, homicide, parricide, physical injury. Natural, hindi parricide, hindi physical injury. So, ang sagot, pwedeng murder, pwedeng homicide. Sir, pag nagsasabo yung tao, kasali ba siya sa qualifying circumstances? To be honest with you, hindi siya kasali. Diba? I did not mention about shabu from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Hindi siya kasali sa qualifying circumstance. Pero ganito, pag ang tao is influenced by a prohibited drug, if a person is influenced by a prohibited drug, automatic magiging qualifying or aggravating circumstance siya para sa krimen na murder. Okay? Para sa krimen na murder. So ano ang kaso? Ang kaso natin dito is murder. Okay? So, pag walang qualifying circumstance mga kadete, ang krimen lang po is homicide. Elements dito, ang tao namatay, that the accused killed him without any justifying circumstances. Okay? Memorize nyo po yung jimaan nyo ha, justifying, exempting, mitigating, alternative, at saka alternating. Ang pagpatay, pag may justifying, self-defense, defense of relatives, defense of strangers, walang homicide na mangyayari. Okay, walang homicide na mangyayari. Pero pag walang justifying circumstance, pasok siya sa homicide. Number 3, that the accused had the intention to kill, which is presumed, and then that the killing was not attended by any of the qualifying circumstances of murder or by that of parricide or infanticide. Hindi siya mahulog sa murder, hindi siya mahulog sa parricide, hindi siya mahulog sa infanticide, so mahulog siya ngayon sa tinatawag nating homicide. Okay? So, ito yung mga approaches natin sa pag-conduct ng investigation sa murder or homicide cases. Una, crime scene investigation approach, same pa din mga kadete ha. Tingnan natin ngayon yung mga physical evidence at the same time ini-examine natin. Chain of custody mga kadete ha, as I have stated, purpose niya is to maintain the integrity of the evidence. Kailanganin pa din po yung photographs, sketching, measurement, collection of physical evidence at the same time, coordination with forensic expert for laboratory analysis. Number 2, follow-up or in-depth investigation. Ano ibig sabihin ng follow-up or in-depth investigation? Di ba may initial interview tayo, initial interrogation, at saka initial investigation. So may mga pagkakataon na ang investigator will conduct another thorough inquiry to establish the motive, identity of the offender, and gather testimonial and documentary evidence. So gagawin yung follow-up or in-depth investigation approach. Okay, dito mag-conduct ng interview witnesses, interrogation sa suspect. Interview, conduct ka ng questioning sa relatives and possible witnesses. Pag suspitsado, interrogation ang gagamitin natin. Conduct background checks on the victim and person of interest. Establish motive. Ano ba yung motive? Motive, ibig sabihin, ito yung mga factors that push a person to commit the act. Ano ang example ng motive? Jealousy, hatred, revenge, so on and so forth. Ang intent is the accomplishment of the act. Motive is the factor that push the person to commit the act. But the accomplishment of the act is the intent. Then, perform case linkage analysis if similar murders have occurred. Pag pare-pareho, baka siya lang mismo ang pumatay last week. Pag pareho yung mode of operation or modus operandi. So, gagawa ka ng case linkage analysis. Baka siya lang ang pumatay sa biktima in the previous weeks. Okay? Prepare and serve search or arrest warrant when sufficient probable cause exists. Okay? Sunod, after follow-up or in-depth investigation approach, punta na tayo dito sa forensic or scientific approach. Sa forensic or scientific approach, pareho lang din po. Forensic pathology, determination of the cause of death of the person, the manner how the person died. Pag may bullets, pag mayroong mga shells, then you are going to proceed with ballistic examination. Then, serology and DNA analysis para tingnan yung biological samples and link it to the individuals. Then, tingnan pag may poison, may droga ba or may alcohol in the victim system, you do toxicology. And then, digital forensics. By the way, mga kadite, I'd like to introduce to you hash value. Hash Hotel Alpha Sierra Hotel. Hash value. Hash value is known as the fingerprint of the digital evidence. Fingerprint of a digital evidence. Lumabas yan sa board examination. Okay? So, pag hash value, yan po ang digital, yung fingerprint natin sa digital evidence. Okay? So, extract data from phones, computers, and CCTV system, pero kailanganin po yung warrant, different warrants before we can examine a computer or digital evidence. As to the different types of warrants, punta kayo sa discussion natin on cybercrime investigation. Okay? Alright. Last is infanticide. Okay? Infanticide, mga kadete. Yung ibang topics ilagay na natin sa ibang episodes para at least hindi masyadong overwhelming yung discussion natin. Infanticide, pag nag-usapan, ang emphasis dito time, oras. Ang parricide, ang emphasis relationship. Okay? Relasyon. Okay? Pero sa infanticide, time or oras. Ano ang oras dito? Less than 3 days or less than 72. Pareho lang yan, Brad. 72 hours equivalent to 3 days. Dapat less than. Pero pagpatay on a child, killing of a child 3 days old, ano ang tamang sagot? Tamang sagot is murder, hindi infanticide. Kasi sa infanticide, less than. I hope alam natin kung ano ibig sabihin ng less than. If the offender is the parent and the victim is less than 3 days old, automatic. Infanticide. The crime is infanticide and not parricide. There is no infanticide when the child was born dead, or although born alive, it could not sustain an independent life when it was killed. O ganito, there is no infanticide pang ang bata is patay na nang lumabas siya. Okay? Or buhay siya nang lumabas pero hindi naman siya makapag-sustain ng independent life. Ibig sabihin, hindi siya viable. Anong ibig sabihin dyan? Ganito ha, I'd like you to listen very carefully. Una, pag pinatay siya, doon pa lang sa womb, namatay siya doon sa womb, walang parricide doon. Ang mag-apply doon is yung abortion. Okay? Pangalawa, ipinanganak siya, buhay siya, pero hindi pa independent, hindi pa siya viable for life. Ang tanong, kailan po maging viable for life? According to People of the Philippines versus Ditablan, a fetus with intrauterine life of 6 months is not viable for life. Thus, intrauterine life that is more than 6 months is viable. Okay? Example ha, ipinanganak. Nung ipinanganak, let us say 7 months na siya, more than 6 months na ha. Pag more than 6 months, viable for life. Pag 6 months and below, hindi siya viable for life. Nung ipinanganak siya, 7 months, buhay yung bata. Pinatay ang bata less than 3 days old. Pinatay siya. Ano ang krimen? Ang krimen hindi abortion, but rather, pasok siya ngayon sa tinatawag nating infanticide. Kasi viable for life na siya. Pwedeng-pwede na, mabuhay na siya. Independent from the mother. Okay? Pangalawa, let us say for example, ipinanganak siya. Nung ipinanganak siya, buhay. Pero yung age niya, lagay na lang natin, 5 months, buhay yung bata. Pero pinatay mo, buhay yung bata, pinatay mo, less than 72 hours, pinatay mo. Mag-a-apply ba ang parricide? Ang sagot, hindi Brad, hindi siya mag-a-apply. Hindi mag-a-apply ang infanticide. Bakit hindi siya mag-a-apply ang infanticide? Kasi yung bata na 5 months pa lang, less than 6 months 6 months or below hindi pa siya viable for life. Ang kailanganin natin dito, dapat viable. Dapat pwede na siyang mabuhay. I'm referring to more than 6 months. So again, I'd like to repeat, pinatay siya, buhay siya ha, nung pagka-deliver. Buhay siya. Ang unang tanong, viable for life ba? Pag viable for life, less than 3 days, infanticide will apply. Pero kahit buhay siya, pinatay siya, 6 months or below, pinatay siya, hindi mag-a-apply doon ang infanticide. Ang mag-a-apply doon is abortion. Okay? I hope klarong-klaro yan mga kadete ha. Pero again, pag pinatay siya doon mismo sa loob, sa womb ng parent, doon mismo pinatay siya, pagpatay na siya doon sa womb, hindi mag-a-apply ng infanticide. Ang infanticide mag-a-apply lang po sa labas ng utero, sa labas ng womb ng parent. I hope klaro ha. There is no infanticide when the child was born dead, again, or born alive siya pero hindi siya viable for life. I'm referring to 6 months and below. Sir, may nagsasabi, sir, dapat 7 months. Hindi 7 months, Brad. Ang 7 months na nakalagay doon sa Civil Code of the Philippines, edad yan ng isang bata in a determination of personality. Okay? Ang dapat nating i-follow is yung People of the Philippines versus Ditablan. Wag yung sa Civil Code of the Philippines. Kasi yung sa Civil Code of the Philippines, yun po is on the determination of the personality of the child. Okay? Makinig po ng maigi ha. A stranger who cooperates in the perpetration of infanticide committed by the mother or grandparent on the mother's side is liable for infanticide, but the penalty is only for the penalty of murder. Okay? So, yun po mga kadete ha. Very comprehensive and napaka-understandable naman. Okay? Now, as to the approaches in the investigation of infanticide, intentional abortion, unintentional abortion, at the rest, ilagay na lang natin sa episode 2 ha. I'd like to stop muna para hindi tayo ma-overwhelm. Okay? Para hindi tayo ma-overwhelm, we will chunk. Okay lang mga kadete pag i-chunk natin into different episodes. At least, matagal nga yung oras pero understandable naman, di ba? So ano ang pipiliin mo? Yung ang dali-dali lang ng discussion pero talagang hindi mo nakuha yung discussion, or yung matagalan pero hinimay-himay yung pagdi-discuss? Mas maganda yung hinihimay-himay kahit matagal, right? So, see you on episode 2. Huwag kayong bibitaw ha, makikita tayo sa episode 2. Maraming salamat. God bless everyone. Tiwala sa Diyos, tiwala sa sarili.